My video for February 16th, 2018 is entitled Untied Family Ties. Two of my three sisters have birthdays in February, the 15th and 16th. Unfortunately, neither one wants to communicate with me, so I have to send birthday greetings through other family members. Like all such special occasion days, I feel the sadness that rifts occur in family relations that often never seem to heal. As I was reading in one of my Anastasia books, returned by a friend, I noticed that she wanted to keep her son away from his father for a time so that he would remember his connection to the world of nature rather than the distorted world of the matrix. This was a challenge for Vladimir, but I do have some understanding as to the reason for her reluctance to have her son feel the confusion so prevalent in our world. She wanted him to first come to realize his true nature so that when he met his dad, he would have a foundation of love through which he could see more clearly. To many, this makes no sense. We have all been poisoned by the world in which we live, which of course challenges those of us who really want to experience a more loving world. It is my sincere hope that we can come to a place as a human family that we can recognize that we are all brothers and sisters. Yes, as I said in the blurb, holidays and special occasions that commemorate events in the lives of my brothers and sisters and other birth relations, natural relations, it challenges me because I feel the pain of not being able to communicate. I'm so glad that I'm able to communicate with my son and my daughter again, and of course with my grandkids. I see them on a regular basis, and it's good for me. It feels good to me to be able to have family ties that are at least somewhat healthy. But when my friend gave me back book one of Anastasia, this is book one, I asked if she wanted to read book two, and she said no, she had other projects that she was going now. And so while I was sitting waiting for my granddaughter to get out of school, I sat there and I read a few small chapters in the book, and it triggered again a lot of memories as I realized where Anastasia was coming from. She lived in a totally different world than the rest of us. Again, it was a world where she was connected to the God of nature, or the creator of everything, of life. And she recognized, because she grew up in connection with the animals, with the plants, with everything around her. She was connected to it, and that means that she did not have the limitations that everybody else has in the world. She wasn't born with the idea of being limited. And we all are cursed with that idea that we can't do this and we can't do that. We're told that we're less than, or that we're terrible sinners. And this, of course, is my family upbringing too. I mean, that's why my sisters don't communicate, because they believe that they have the true religion. And because I have tried to build bridges to other religions, and I've tried to build loving relationships with people in other cultures and etc., because of that, I'm not a Christian. They see it that it's okay for them to judge me, and therefore not even want to talk with me. I remember when my mom and I went over to my sister's house, and we were met by my brother-in-law, and I've told this story before, and Mom, you're welcome to come in. Ron, you're not welcome in our home. And finally, she did come out and invite us in, and I thought that that things were mended, but that was not the reality. This is the struggle we have living in a world where we're convinced that some ideology is the truth. No, that's not the truth. And I keep telling you that. I keep saying it, and I will keep saying it. The truth is, love is true. And who are we to love? Well, we're to love ourselves, but we're to see ourselves not as separate from, but as connected to everyone else. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with race or skin color or nationality or language or any of the other things that have created such confusion on earth. And this has been our experience generationally and lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. We have been indoctrinated in the principles of separation rather than the principles of true unity, which is beyond all of the things that separate us. Anastasia was blessed to have that connection, and she wanted to develop a family tie with her son that was not distorted by the father bringing things into it. I mean, when the father finally did get a chance, I think the son was 2 or 3 years old by that time when she finally was willing to let him come and meet their son. The father brought him toys and stuff like that, and the son had no interest in the toys. Can you imagine that a little child would not be fascinated by toys? But why would he be? He had learned about life, being connected to life. He had learned about the animals, not to be afraid of them, to connect with the plants, to connect with everything around him. And he had, like Anastasia, even greater gifts, talents, and abilities that were being awakened in him from the beginning of his life, just as happened with her when her parents were killed and her grandfather and great-grandfather raised her by observation. In other words, they didn't interfere, they just watched her, stood back and watched her interact with nature. And if we would learn how to do that, I believe we would be able to transcend some of the limitations that we have had to face. And of course, the world seems to have been given over to people that want to build this separation concept and have a superior group, an elite establishment, call it whatever you want. But it's a separation that does not allow us to love one another, because we can't love if we're separate. Come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing. That's not a commandment from the loving God. It's not a commandment from any other than a demon, pretending to be God, claiming divinity. But divinity is love. Can we ever, as earthlings, experience love on this planet in a physical form? Some say no. Some say we've got to die and go back to the spirit realm in order to be free from the lies and the bondage of a physical reality. I still have trouble buying that. But anyway, I do want to experience love for myself and for all of my brothers and sisters, regardless of the things that separate us. Thank you for listening, and namaste.